What's up everyone, welcome back. Today we're playing Gix Yawgmoth Praetor in Historic Brawl. It's a 3 mana, 1 black 3/3 Phyrexian Praetor. Whenever a creature deals combat damage to one of your opponents, its controller may pay 1 life. If they do, they draw a card. So since we're playing Historic Brawl, this only applies to us, but in Commander this would apply to your other opponents that attack each other. So, but that doesn't apply here. But we do get the ability when our creatures do combat damage to draw a card. So that's huge. That's the main engine of the deck. There are a sprinkling of other card draw effects in here, but this is the main way we draw cards in this deck. And then the second clause is 7 mana. Discard X cards. Exile the top X cards of target opponent's library. You may play lands and cast spells from among cards exiled this way without paying their mana cost. So this is like an end game payoff. As you notice, our mana curve is really low and we don't really have an end game payoff. Normally I include like a big planeswalker or a big creature or something of that sort. I mean, I guess Virtue of Persistence sort of counts, but this isn't like a surefire way to win the game, right? It can, but it's not a surefire way. Like, what if we're against a Spellslinger deck? This isn't really going to do anything. So this, imagine this. We have a bunch. Look how many 1 mana creatures we have in 2 mana creatures. We swing in with 7 creatures, right? Or let's say 7 creatures deal combat damage. We draw 7 cards. We already had 3 cards in our hand. Now we have 10 cards. We can pay 7, discard 10 cards if we want, or 5 if we want to keep 5, half of them in our hand, whatever we want. Let's just say 10 for the sake of argument. And then we exile the top 10 cards of our opponent's library and we can play any of those for free, including their lands. Pretty busted. So obviously you could whiff, but this deck can draw a lot of cards, especially since it's all creatures. And a lot of them are flyers, like Eye Collector, or they have some kind of evasiveness, like Changeling Outcast. So a lot of the time they're gonna get through, even if the opponent has blockers. So we're gonna draw a ton of cards, and so at the end game we can turn those cards into, casting spells out of our opponent's library. So that's kind of like the end game win con. We might just kill them with combat damage before then. We have Sheoldred in here, so that can obviously kill people. Phyrexian Obliterator, no one wants to block this, and it is a 5/5 trampler. And Grey Merchant of Asphodel. I always love decks where you can play Gary. It's a pet card of mine. Pauper All-Star. You don't get to really play it that often, even in other mono black decks in Historic Brawl, but this is the perfect deck to play this in. 1, it's a creature. 2, it's a mono black card. But 3, we're going to be losing life because of Gix, so this gains us X life, but it also drains our opponent X life for our devotion to black. And our devotion to black is going to be really high. So if we have 9 devotion, we're hitting them for 9 life and we're gaining 9 life. That could win the game after we've already been beating them down with our creatures. So pretty straightforward. It's mono black aggro with a twist. Let's see if we can get some wins with this deck in the queue. I feel like these sort of videos, different kinds of Historic Brawl decks, go ahead and subscribe. I'm eventually going to do other content too, different formats. They just released Timeless, which seems really interesting. So we'll see if we can do some Timeless content. But if you're into this kind of stuff, hit that subscribe button. We got an opponent. Nice. Okay, this should be interesting because it's mono green, so it's basically like 2 creature decks. We got a flyer. We have removal. Yeah, I think we keep. And they get to go first, though. Once a Shy comes down, it's a problem. But if they attack with it, we can just block with our Death Toucher. elemental. Might be elemental tribal, which would be interesting. This can come down. Do we... Okay, so we're at a decision. Do we bolt the bird, so to speak? Let's give them the opportunity to block. They don't want to block. It makes me think that we should definitely kill this. Yep. Alright, let's start gixing it up. I don't think they're going to have a flash creature in green. Could be wrong. It is 2023 Magic. Yeah, take action. Cool. Questing Beast. Yeah, no blocks. It has Vigilance. Interesting. So, next, one attacker. They're not going to block. Take action. Perfect. So, green has a lot of protection effects. Let's just get rid of this now. And we can play... you. Flyer down. Look in their hand. I didn't even get a chance to look at your hand. What would we have exiled? They're on 4 mana. Yeah, see, they had a heroic intervention. That's why we had to take out their questing beast on our turn. Nissa would have probably been the choice. That's way too powerful. But they don't have another land, which is kind of interesting. Because they can't play this and they can't play Nissa. But, you know, it's mono green, so they're probably going to rip it off the top. Alright, GG. Mono black defeats mono green. Warms my heart. Let's see who we get next. I've been dealing with a cold the last week, and nothing severe, just like a really annoying like throat cold, and talking in these videos has been like extra difficult. But today's the first day where I actually feel alright, so hopefully I'm finally kicking it. Okay, we got an opponent. Is this the Cascade Sliver? I think so. The first sliver, right? Yeah. So this could either be Sliver Tribal, or I actually played a 5-color Good Stuff deck that this was the commander in, and apparently it's a common deck, but I only played it for the first time the other day, so it's one of those two. I think either way we're all right. It actually is better for us if they're the 5-color Good Stuff, because they're going to take a couple turns mana fixing, and we can get under them with our creatures. So we have a couple... We have Thoughtseize too. Yeah, this is a great hand. Let's keep. I wish we went first. That would have been even better, but... Again, they're gonna play like a Triome on their first turn. What the hell is this? Okay, yeah, tap land. Let's play you. Now, do we Thoughtseize on turn 1? Let's just do it like this. I think we can afford to mill some cards. We'll see what they do. Alright, we drew our 3rd land, so that's good. Let's attack. No stick. Get rid of their Lotus Cobra. If they have a counter spell, that's fine. Oh my goodness. Look at those cards. I think it's the Celestis, right? Because that mana fixes them. And all this other stuff costs way too much. Yeah, like this is a greedy hand. Key to the Archive too. Oh man. I think it's Key. Key is too much value. So next turn we're gonna play Gix, draw 2 cards. They have nothing they can cast in their hand. They don't even have the right colors for most of this stuff. Like they don't have double green, they don't have any of this. Yep. Okay. Okay. That was a good mill. Get rid of their color fixing land. I don't know why you kept a handful of 8 drops, opponent, but seems like a weird strategy. So what are they missing? They're missing green? Oh, they're not missing anything now. Okay. So they have a 7/7. Yeah. Well, I mean, we can just Infernal grasp this. Now it costs 7. Yeah. What is our commander again? We'll do Phyrexian. Because we have a couple Phyrexians in our deck. I don't think they have a board wipe, so let's just do this. You can block if you want to. That's a good card. That's a good card to mill. 6 mana. They're 1 away from Atraxa. But they... if we get rid of this, they... well, we're probably not going to get rid of this in mono black, but... this is their only green source. That's what I was thinking. And then I don't... yeah, they could do this. Oh, I see. They can still play Atraxa. Okay. Do we have removal? No. Okay. Well, they're going to have to discard a lot of this stuff, so I'm not sure what they keep here. If I were them, I'd discard anything with green mana, because they only have this one green source. Like, are you really going to keep Emergent Ultimatum? Like, are you ever going to be able to cast that? I mean, I guess this allows them to, right? Okay. Ooh, Nykthos is good. Oh, we could Yawgmoth them if we discard our whole hand. That might be our only way to win this game. honestly. Okay. Next. Let's give ourselves the best chance. That's one black, that's one black. So, Nykthos is 2 mana to put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, it's exact. Oh, we're taking a big risk, but I guess just for the extra card, we'll see if they block. They won't because it's a Death Toucher. Take action, see what we draw. Okay. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Ruinous Ultimatum, pretty good. Cool. Yeah, we'll do all of these. Yeah, we'll do it on the kick side. Oh no, I guess we can't. Yeah, on the regular side, and we'll explore, sure. Black. Destroy all your stuff. Or we'll fight rig. I don't know, sure. Yeah, nope. You have no green mana anymore. You have this. You're gonna time warp. You don't even have a land. Okay, you finally got a green source. And death. That was amazing. I told you the win con of Gix is pretty epic. That Ruinous Ultimatum was clutch. So yeah, that's the 5-color good stuff version of the sliver deck. I honestly don't get it. I understand what people are trying to do. They're trying to get like one cascade trigger off of their first sliver, but like into what? Like a mana dork? It just doesn't make sense to me. Like I feel like if you're gonna run that route, like run Golos or run any of the other 5-color commanders that are better. But I don't know. I guess it's popular. I feel okay. Opponent is scared of Gix. Sure. However, if you do run the first sliver and you make it a sliver deck, then it's very powerful because then all your slivers have cascade. But making it a 5-color good stuff deck makes no sense to me. Italian. I don't know what this one does. Is this the Theory? Yeah, it is. Okay. As long as Talion the Kindly Lord enters the battlefield... Oh, I'm sorry. As it enters the battlefield, choose a number between 1 and 10. Whenever an opponent casts a spell with a mana value, power, or tough... Oh, this is the one where you draw a card. Okay. Based on that number. This is a good land to have. We finally get to go first, too. It's a 4 mana, so Fatal Push might hit it if something dies. But we could get Obliterator down. I think we keep. think we keep because of Nykthos. It just turns on our whole deck. Or it opens the possibility to being able to play like Obliterator a lot faster. Okay, we'll do like this. Any monocolor deck you run should have Nykthos. It's super powerful. Even like 2-color decks that lean heavily towards one color should have Nykthos. Okay, Nykthos. No stick. I guess we'll Eyetwitch and pass. We need one more land to turn on Nykthos. Slash get kicks down. Oh, perfect. Perfect timing. Is this a... Yes, it is. So... we can get... Right now it's just 2 mana, so... Let's... yeah. Let's Fatal Push this. So that they don't have a flyer. And we'll hold up Bitter Triumph. They don't have blue mana right now. Okay, there it is. They must have just drawn that, because why would they play Reliquary Tower? Enters the battlefield, draw a card. It's also a flyer. Yep. We will pay the 3 life. Is this a flyer? It is a flyer. Okay. Draw some cards. Oh, what a draw. These are all flyers. This is the most annoying of them, so let's just take that. Okay. So they're gonna drop a bunch of flyers. Which is fine. So we'll want to do this first. 4 mana. So let's play Obliterator. Next. Attack all. They can double block if they want to. Okay, we could activate that in response, but I think I'd rather wait. See what we draw here. Virtue of Persistence is pretty damn good. Is this a 3/4? This is a 1/1. Let's just do this now. Next turn we can have Virtue Persistence down. And a Dimir deck's going to have a hard time dealing with that. So we know they have a land and Rankle. Okay. So they can attack if they want and make us sack a creature. And discard a card. I think all these modes hurt them more than it hurts me. Discard a card. Let's do you, because we have a card draw. Okay. Do we just slam the Virtue? We can also... Okay, we have a couple options. I think we slam the Virtue. And the reason being is their deck is a bunch of little fairies. Well, actually, maybe that is good. Oh, that's amazing. Okay, so now we have no max hand size, which is great. Do we care about any of this? No. And we can keep Virtue. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You. So let's just like... actually let's... I'm trying to click it, game. There we go. I think Duress might be good, but... Nah, let's just outvalue them. Because they're gonna have a bunch of like creatures. So that's X equals 0. Sure. He puts it in their graveyard though, so that's fine. End turn. So now they have to have a solution to all this, essentially. I think that's better than Virtue would have been. Virtue's a little bit slower than that. That was a much bigger value play. And they have to block the Obliterator. So they're gonna... Even if they have enough creatures to block with, this has trample, so they're gonna have to sack a bunch of stuff. So next turn we're just gonna attack all. See what they do. Okay. What does this do? Whoever creature you can hold it, put a +1/+1 on a equipped creature. Okay, yep. GG. Well, that's twice now we've activated Gix's ability. I didn't think it would come up that much, but I guess it does. Having Nykthos in our opening hand really put us ahead in that game. See who we get next. If you haven't already, please subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. Like the video, leave a comment. If there's a commander you want to see me play, just leave a comment. I already did one for another viewer. Light pause. So this is Voltron, I believe. Yeah, yep. This is good against it though. And we got 2 flyers. So we'll go. We get to go first, looks like. Let's get in their hand. Ossification. This would be bad for us. Yeah, that's bad for us. They have to... If they do ossification, they have to do it on a basic land. We're not going to put this card down because they'll definitely get rid of it. And we want to have cut down up because they're probably going to want to play their commander. They might not though. They might ossify the Vault Skirge. Okay, that's fine. We don't care about that. My turn. Maybe we'll put this down now because we don't want them exiling Gix. So if Knight has to go, it is what it is. So we will resolve. Then if they put something else on the stack, we'll respond with cut down. Next turn we can slam Gix and draw a bunch of cards. Or we can pump the Knight. No block. They can kill the Knight if they want. But they may not want to. And we can get Knight back if they remove it. Not with ossification, but if they find another way to get rid of it. Wow, they take it. I did not expect that. Take action. Okay, that's a good card. So Light Pause costs 4? Is there something reducing its cost? No, I'm sorry, I'm just bad at math. It's a 2-mana commander. So they can play Light Pause again, but then they can't do anything else. They're probably going to choose Gix. That's fine. I'd rather they take something that we can replay. Eviction. Okay. Nice. So... +3/+3. I want to save this for their commander. We'll see if they bite here. They're thinking about it. Okay. Well, I think this is our best play. And then we can still Changeling Outcast. If they want to race, we can definitely race. It's a 1/1. They can play their commander and one other spell, probably. Hopefully nothing that gives it, like, Shroud or Hexproof. Okay. Soul Guide Lantern. Alright, that's fine. So we can get rid of Light Pause again. Okay, they're gonna attack. I mean, I guess why not? It's Vigilant, right? Okay, we'll play you tapped. We will Blood Chief's Thirst. Light pause. Pretty sure you can't do anything about it on 0 mana, so you might as well let the trigger resolve, opponent. Let's go next. I wish this was divest or some type of like Thoughtseize or something so we could get this creature out of the way. But maybe it's still worth it to Mind Spike. We'll see how they block here. They are unhappy. Okay, they can't block anything except for the Knight. So let's just do it. Okay, since they're not going to block, we'll just do it like this. We'll still get the trigger from Knight, and we can play Fell Stinger. Have a Death Toucher as a blocker against the Spirited Companion. We'll, we'll get rid of the Blight Keeper. I think the Outcast is more important. And this one gains us life, so we don't want to get rid of that. I didn't realize it was target player. That's interesting. If they were down to 2 life, we could make them draw 2 cards and lose 2 life, but obviously not. Not in this situation. Would you like to resolve the trigger? Knight is such a good card. I've been playing this since it came out. It's such a good card. I think one of the first decks I built on Magic, on MTGA, on Arena, was a mono black aggro deck, and it had 4 copies of this. Okay, so they have a... That's a good card. I think we just... Well... Hold on, whenever could you do... We don't really need to draw cards here, huh? We can just attack. So what? They block this. We could give this +3/+3, and then they just die. Yeah, so we attack all. If they do block this, then Invoke Despair gets them. Or if they block at all, Invoke Despair gets them. Yep. Next. Would you like to block? They're going to block the Death Toucher and the Flyer. Interesting. So I think we just pump the Knight, right? And then we'd still have 3 mana left. Oh, we kill them with Invoke Despair. Right? Because this is 4, 5, yep, that's lethal. I'm not gonna miss lethal, guys, I promise. I know every video I miss a lethal, but not this time. This doesn't gain them life. I don't think so. No. Okay. Oh, it has first strike. I was like, wait, why'd that happen? Okay, so Invoke Despair doesn't kill them. I forgot about the first strike. However, it does get rid of that freaking creature, so let's just do it anyway. All that stuff goes bye-bye. And we could get a bunch of stuff back from our graveyard with that, so let's just end the turn. Don't really care about my creatures entering tapped. Maybe it affects Underdog's Blitz, but in this situation they have just their commander and one card. It's probably a land, yeah. GG. These games are fast. Nice. So there was a viewer talking to me about this card. Maybe I'll do this one soon. Okay. Play. Let's do one more. Let's see if we can keep the unbeaten streak. Alright. Joda is very powerful, but it is a 5-color commander. So we do have the opportunity to get underneath it. Especially with Dark Ritual. We get to go first, too. Let's keep. The cut down can get one of their mana dorks. Their deck doesn't really turn on until Joda comes down. Actually, you know what? Do we Gix? I think we Gix. Because then we can start attacking. Yeah, we can start attacking. We drew a land. Awesome. Good one, too. Let's get you down. Done. And you down. Sure. I'll attack. I'll take the card. Why not? We have 2 pieces of removal, so we're okay. Alright, that's a good ramp creature. So we can kill at least one of them. Okay. So they could double block here. Let's see how they block. They don't block. Okay, let's see what we draw before we make any decisions. Okay, that's enough lanes. So let's cut this down. Keep them from ramping and color fixing. Bolt the Bird still applies in 2023. Especially against 5-color decks. Alright, well. I don't think we lost a game, did we? This deck is OP. Let's crack a pack. It's becoming a post game tradition. What is this? Souls of the Lost. Spirit. As initial cost to cast this spell, discard a card or sacrifice a permanent. Souls of the Lost power is equal to the number of permanent cards in your graveyard, and its toughness is equal to the... This would be great in Muldrotha. I keep this whole set from Ixalan, because the Descend mechanic is just pumping out tons of good stuff for Muldrotha. Okay, I'll have to remember that. Is this like mini hammer time? Interesting. And this guy, sacrifice a creature artifact, put a +1/+1 counter on him. Alright. Cool. Let's do a deck review. So, you know, it's an aggro deck. There isn't a lot to like dive in on that part. I would just say, if you're going to build this deck, be wary of your mana curve and be wary of the kinds of creatures, because it can be... There's lots of really great black creatures, but you really want evasive creatures, like flyers or Changeling Outcast is a great one. So try to make all your 1-drops, you know, some type of evasive, or, you know, bare minimum, you know, have to have lifelink or death touch, something like that, so that they aren't just like a 1/1, 1-mana 1/1, you know what I mean? And then for your 2-mana stuff, look for stuff like Crashing Drawbridge is a good example. It can't even attack, it's a defender, but it gives everything haste, right? So, you know, since your mana curve's so low, let's say it's turn 4, you drop 3 creatures, and then you give them all haste, right? That can draw you a bunch of extra cards. That's what I would look for in here, you know. As well as, you know, this is where all the removal generally is, like Infernal Grass, Heartless Act. Those are all really important, because you got to clear the way. You know, you can't just have all creatures, you have to have some removal, and since you're in black, you have a lot of it. The 3-mana slot, you know, I would stick to this. We didn't get to ever see it, but Nighthawk Scavenger is a great one. It's, first of all, it's a flyer, so it's evasive, but it also has death touch and lifelink, and its power can grow depending on the stuff in the graveyard. So that's a great one. Agadeem's Awakening is really good too. You can bring all your stuff back. Since the mana curve is so low, you can bring a bunch of stuff back. And then, you know, once we get to the 4 and 5 and up drop slots, you know, Phyrexian Obliterator is probably my favorite creature ever printed. So anytime I can drop Phyrexian Obliterator in a deck, I'm going to. But besides that point, it is an amazing creature. No one wants to block it, and if you keep it up as a blocker, no one wants to attack you, because they have to sacrifice permanents. So they're in a bind, basically, and you get to sort of dictate the battlefield. You know, if they have an 8/8, they don't want to attack you with it, because then they're going to sacrifice 8 permanents. Sheoldred, we all know about Sheoldred. Just amazing card, really powerful, especially at the 4-drop slot. And then, you know, Ravenous Chupacabra, it's a creature with the ability to kill other creatures. So, you know, more utility, and it's another creature that can eventually attack. We never got to see Gary, unfortunately. I was hoping we could tutor our way into it with like Diabolic Intent, but you know, most of those games we had at least like 5 to 8 devotion. So Gary comes down, adds another 2 devotion. We would have made our opponent lose 10 life, and we would have gained 10 life. I mean, it's very powerful, especially at the point in the game where Gary would come down on like turn 5 at the earliest. Usually they're down already to like 15 life or less by then, so he could actually just outright win the game on the spot. And yeah, I mean, that kind of rounds out the deck. Lands, we didn't get to most of these, but we'll just go through them real quick. Bojuka Bog, exile the other person's graveyard. You know, just important sometimes. Cabal Stronghold, absolute must for a mono black deck. It's like a Cabal Coffers Light, but we have a lot of basic swamps, so in general this is going to add extra mana for you. Castle Lockwain, draw cards if you need them. Hidden Necropolis, you know, just added value if we ever need it. Phyrexian Tower, we have a lot of creatures that we can sack to add mana if we need to. You know, mill, get a creature. Wistful Albie was one I was hoping I was going to be able to get because it's the perfect deck for it, but we can sack, I think it's 5 creatures. Yeah, pay 5, sack 5 creatures, and then you get a 9/7 flying lifelink indestructible haste, which I've always wanted to do. I've never done it, but this would have been the perfect deck to do it in, so I would include Westfield Abbey. Access Tunnel can make one of your creatures unblockable, including Gix. Cavern of Souls, you could maybe cut this card, but it makes your stuff uncounterable, so it's good to use it on your commander. And, you know, like I said, I chose Phyrexian for that one game. We have other Phyrexians in the deck, so it's not like it's only going to work for your commander. Nykthos is an absolute must in a monocolor, any monocolor deck, but you could tell how, you know, much mana it added, and how that really ramped us, you know, a couple turns in advance. We were able to activate Gix's ability because of it early. And then Reliquary Tower. I mean, we draw a bunch of cards in this deck, so it's nice to be able to keep them all in your hand instead of having to discard them. So yeah, that's the deck. If you like the video, hit that sub button, like the video, leave a comment. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Later.